Hi friends, and welcome back to another video. So today I decided to take on the I'll get to it later tag, and I was inspired to do this by Bonnie Nicole Wrights, so thank you so much to them for the inspiration. I'll leave their channel linked down below. Alright, so without further ado, the first question is a classic book that you have been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. So this is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I have been meaning to read this one for literal years, and I love the gothic vibes of the story. I've seen so many Jane Eyre adaptations, and I have fallen in love with it, so I can't wait to read the source material. I've just had this sitting on my shelves for literal years, and I need to get into it. I love the gothic aspects to the story, and I really think it's interesting to read about this orphan and her experiences as a governess. I haven't read too many stories that focus on a governess as a main character, so I can't wait to dive into this one. The next question is a book on your shelf that you haven't yet read. So I decided to spotlight On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This is actually on my March TBR, but I never got around to reading it. And it follows Brie, who is a 16-year-old girl who's always dreamed of being a rapper, and she gets famous and her rapping music blows up, but for all the wrong reasons. She's getting a lot of negativity, and meanwhile her mother has lost her job and they're navigating all of the implications of that. I read The Hate U Give by this author a few years ago, and I really found the book to be a very profound read, so I can't wait to dive into the rest of their backlist. Angie Thomas just has a way with words that they really resonate with you, so I can't wait to read this one and the other books that she's written. Alright, the next question is a book that you recently got that you haven't yet read. So for this one I'm gonna go with Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I know I've mentioned this quite a few times, but it is following Haymitch's games. So from the Hunger Games, he is our main character's mentor in the games. So we are going back in time, and it is a prequel, and it is following the 50th annual Hunger Games. So I can't wait to dive into this story. I really want to understand more about this character. He's a super mysterious figure in the Hunger Games trilogy, and I'm glad that we got this prequel focusing on him. It'll be intriguing to see how the story plays out and all the consequences and fallout that happens after this quarter quell. The next question is a book that a friend recommended to you that you haven't yet read, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is a world where disease and death no longer exist, and the only way to control the human population is through these beings called Scythes. They decide when and where someone's life ends to keep the population under control, and these are teenagers that have to master this art. It sounds like a super intriguing plotline and story. I am curious to dive into this dystopian world and see what it looks like, and what is a world like when we don't ever die from natural causes. I think that would be really interesting to find out about. The next question is a book that you've had forever but haven't yet read, and I'm gonna say Some Boys by Patty Blount for this. This is about a girl who has been raped, and she meets a new boy after that instance, and she called the original guy out, but the town kind of sides against her, and he actually believes in her and he empowers her to actually do something and fight back against this. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know if it's gonna have some romance to this, but I tried to read it a few years ago on the beach and then just never finished it, so hoping to be able to get through this. I know that it's going to be a very emotional read. I think that rape and sexual assault is something that is difficult to read but important to read about. The next question is a book that you are procrastinating on, and for this one I'm gonna say A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've heard everyone talking about this book. This book has been out for years. So many people have absolutely loved this story, and I can't wait to dive into it. I'm just not a big mystery and thriller fan, so I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but definitely one that I need to make a higher priority. I recently hauled this from a little free library, so I can't wait to dive into it, and it's about this girl who dives into this mystery of a teenager that was murdered, and she is reinvestigating the crime because she thinks that the investigation wasn't done correctly the first time. So I can't wait to dive into this one. This is one I need to stop procrastinating on and get to soon. Alright, so that's the end of this tag. If you've made it to this point, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you that watches my videos. I just want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to all of you, and I will leave the people that I'm tagging down below. Of course, there's no pressure to do this, so feel free to do it if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can just skip on by. But thank you again so much for watching, and if you like this video, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. And I just want to say, wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!